Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Now there is a brand new C-Class from Mercedes, and in this video we're going to talk about the design, and I want to actually redesign both the front and the rear of this car because there are a few things that I think could add some substance to the design overall. So here it is. This is the brand new Mercedes C-Class. Hold on, this is actually the E-Class. This is the new C-Class that we're going to, or is it? I think this might be the S-Class actually. Now we got it right. Here it is, the brand new C-Class. It's really hard to confuse these three models because they all look the same. Basically, they're just a shrinking or larger version of each other. But let's start with the rear view here. And let's talk about the Mercedes C-Class in the rear. I think it's kind of exactly like we expected it to be, right? We all saw the new S-Class, we saw the new E-Class, we saw the design of those. Usually what happens these days is that just manufacturers just take the same S-Class, shrink it down by, I don't know, 15%, and boom, you have an E-Class, and then shrink it down a little bit more, and you have a C-Class. Maybe not 15%, I don't know, I'm not an engineer, but you get the point. The graphics, the proportions, everything is pretty much the same, even the wheel design, which, by the way, I think Mercedes is doing really great looking wheels these days. Super simple, elegant looking wheels. But here we have the new Mercedes C-Class from the rear. So let's have a look at the lines here. It has some pretty sweet line flow. What I like about this car is the shoulder line that sits in a different position from, for example, the E-Class, which I'm going to show you in just a second. You can see that it starts up here and goes all the way up here. Let's make this into the correct brush and the correct color first of all. It goes all the way up here. So it sits very high and it kind of ends in this corner right here. I think that's the point. So this is the sharp shoulder line, and then beneath that you have more of a subtle shoulder line that is not as defined, but you still have almost like a double shoulder here, and this goes into the side, the corner piece of the taillight, and then this continues into the rear light of the car, which is a nice touch. And then of course this continues and creates this line right here, this shelf, and wraps around obviously the same way around the car. That's one of the key lines of these cars, or two of the key lines, is this double shoulder, and then you have this traditional clean Mercedes looking line right here that goes up something like this and cuts into something, I think maybe this line, but this is inverted the other way, so I'm not sure if that you can't really follow this line all around the car, but that's fine. We have at least one line. That's all that matters. You need to have one line that you can follow all around 360 degrees on the car, and that would be this blurred out shoulder line that you have right there. Now let's have a look at the E-Class. Let's zoom out so you can see both of these models, and let's talk about the shoulder line that I was just talking about. In the E-Class, I think the shoulder line works better in the E-Class than it does in the C-Class. The reason for that is I think the flow just works better. You have it almost dips a little bit here in the rear end. As you can see, it goes up and then down into the tail light. So you have one shoulder line instead of double shoulders like you have in the C-Class. You have one sharp and one a little bit blurry. On the E-Class, you have one line and that's it. But you still have the same kind of treatment down here, even though a little bit more subtle than in the C-Class, which is totally understandable. Usually what happens when you have a small car like the C-Class, or let's say the 3 Series compared to the 7 Series, what happens is designers usually have a lot more fun designing the C-Class and the 3 Series. They get more freedom to create some stuff like this. For example, this air outlet, or it's probably fake. Me personally, I would probably remove that. I don't think it suits the C-Class, maybe the AMG versions, but not the C300 or wherever that's going to be. I would remove this, but the key point here is you can see that they have a lot more fun creating more lines in the car than we have on the E-Class. And now if we compare the C-Class to the S-Class, you can see that it becomes even more restrained in the design of the car. The graphics are still pretty much the same. Just have a look at the graphics of the car. We have the same kind of taillight shape on all of these cars. Am I a fan of this taillight? I've made redesigns on the E-Class and the S-Class before on the channel. Specifically the S-Class, I'm not a fan of the rear lights of this car. There's a simple reason for this. So looking at the taillight of the S-Class, it lacks any sort of movement. There's nothing going on. It's a static shape. It's a shape that looks like this. So it's almost an upside down pyramid, and you have the halfway point of the pyramid being right where these two lines meet. So this is what the taillight looks like. And the reason it's a static shape is because, as I talked about in the S-Class video, if you have, for example, let's say you have a sheet right here that hangs something like this. It's a soft sheet of a blanket or something like that, and then you have a stone that you drop. I'm trying to explain the dynamics of graphics and why I always like to have some dynamic features in the graphic design. It makes for a more interesting, unsettled or movement in the graphics. So let's say we drop this right here on the sheet on this blanket or whatever this is. Then this is going to look something like this, because we have the stone right here and it's still in movement. So this is going to go back and forth with the stone kind of swaying back and forth until it settles to this point right here. And at that point, this sheet is going to look something like this Mercedes taillight. So that is what I mean with it being static. There is no more movement. Everything has stopped. It doesn't make for an interesting graphic, in my opinion. Of course, it makes for a very symmetrical design, but since we have two taillights on each side of the car, I want to have some movement in those taillights. So going back to the rear view of the C-Class, I prefer this design because we have more of a angle or a movement towards this side. It's not centered. This stone here is still in movement. It creates more of a dynamic feeling of taillight. I hope this all makes sense. If not, just comment down below and tell me that I'm just talking nonsense and nobody understands what the heck I'm saying. If I had to pick one design here that I prefer the most, it would probably be the E-Class. I think the E-Class is pretty good looking, but it still has this traditional Mercedes modern problem that I don't like with the rear ends, is that it feels like it's sloping so much. I want to have it be some sort of, I want to build up the rear ends of these cars. This is the same problem with the S-Class right here. The front looks beautiful on the S-Class. We're gonna go to the front next here. I'm gonna tell you exactly why I kind of love the front end of the S-Class, but the rear, everything, it loses all the structure and the bossiness of what an S-Class needs to be, specifically in comparison to the C-Class and the E-Class. We can't have the same kind of design all through the lineup. The S-Class always needs to stand out because it's the S-Class. That's what it's supposed to do. All right, so let's have a look at the front here. This is the front of the C-Class. Let's have a look at the front of the E-Class and the S-Class. Now, what is the big difference between these two and the S-Class? The biggest difference here is the treatment of these new grills and headlights that comes on the 2021 C-Class and the E-Class. What happened from the previous generation here that I'm not a fan of, that I'm gonna try and redesign in just a minute here, that is that the grill totally inverted. You now have these lines right here, both in the grill and down at the bottom of these air intakes. What this makes, again, we have too many lines moving in one direction. So this creates a graphic font, simple geometry that looks something like this. There is all these angles pointing upwards. There's nothing to break it up, something like this, which we have on the S-Class. The S-Class has more of a movement or more of a classy design in the front end with these grill lines on the side, as you can see right here. It still has this traditional angle on the Mercedes grill. That's beautiful. And then this in combination with these angles right here, it works a lot better than having these angles on both of these big major design features or elements in the front end. It's too much of a sloping this way pyramid design. If we break it down to simple geometries, like if we do it like this, and in the Mercedes S-Class you still have this, but you have something to break it up. And that's one thing I want to change in the redesign of the C-Class, which I'm going to jump in and do right now. You're welcome to skip to the end of this video, but that's it for me talking in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.